Hello everyone, welcome to GV Reddy Automation World. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe to it to enable notification for more interesting videos. Right, we are continuing on Postman series. Right, previously we have seen how to install the Postman. Right, now today we will see basic concepts of API. Right, whoever don't have idea, just for their purpose. Right, just I will give you overview of basic terminologies. Right, here first we should know what is client and server. Right, what is a client and server? Client is like a computer hardware device, software that accesses a service made available by server. Right, client means what? Like some system. Right, we want to access some service provided by server, right, by using client. Suppose you are accessing, suppose you want to book some ticket, right? What you will do, you will go, you should have some mobile, right, or right, a laptop or some desktop system. We must have something. We should open the URL, right, website of that is the client, right? The client is like a client. We should have some hardware system or software service available by server. We will access google.com, right? How it is coming? google.com or naukri.com or redbus.com, right, irctc.com, right? These are all clients, right? These are all we are accessing from one computer. We are accessing that from the client system to, whenever you will type, what it will do, it is connecting to server, right? Server is also a physical computer, but that is dedicated to run the some service. Right, whenever you are typing irctc.com, right, naukri.com, from where it will come that response from the server. Server is like a physical computer that is dedicated to run some services. Right, it will provide some services depending on the service that is running. It could be a file server, database server, or media server, print server, web server. There are different types of server. Right, mostly we will use in real-time web servers, right, servers that will run, like the JBoss server, Tomcat server, right, and now Windows servers will be there, right, there will be different servers will be there. In servers, application, nowadays we are running Azure DevOps, right, running our application in the Azure, Docker, right, different cloud tools we are using, right. Previously, olden days, we will use the systems. We will keep our software in the system that is available by over the network. Another person just will type it google.com, naukri.com, monster.com, right, irctc. From the client system, they will access the server. Right, that is the client. Both are some hardware systems only. Client will access the server. Server will provide service to the client. Right, both are some physical servers only. Physical systems basically, right? It will have a client server architecture, 1-tier architecture, 2-tier, 3-tier, right? Nowadays all are 3-tier architecture following. In olden days we will have a 1-tier. That means in single machine we will have a client and server both. After that it is coming to 2-tier architecture. 2-tier means it is separated, client tier separately, database separately, right? Both will be in different missions or same missions also. Same mission means it is 1-tier. If it is in both in different 2-tier architecture, then 3-tier architecture coming to, right, it will have a client presentation layer, business logic, database, right. 3-tier, they have divided the application into 3 parts. One is the client, one is the business logic, one is the database. That may be in a single mission also, it may be, or 2 missions or 3 missions. That is the architecture they have divided. Right, then what is an API? API is the application program interface, is the way of communication between two applications. Way of communication, right? I want to communicate with another system, right? Then API will use, right? It will be used to communicate between two applications, one application to another application, right? May differ their platforms in the technology. Right, suppose I have one system here, I have one system here, right. Now I want to communicate. This is the maybe right. This is the .NET. Right, .NET. It is developed. This application is developed in this application. Right. Suppose application is developed on .NET. Right. Suppose this application is developed in right Java. Now I want to send some data from here. I want to communicate. Right. I want to communicate from the .NET system to Java system. Right. We can use through API. Right. We can communicate one system to another system. Right. It is like a mediator. Right. Real time. If you take, suppose you want to speak. Right. You know English. Other person don't know English. He know only Hindi. Right. Now you want to communicate both. Right. We need some mediator. Right. Similarly here also API is like a mediator to communicate between the two applications. Right. API is the communication between two layers. Right. What is HTTP? HTTPS. HTTP means hypertext transmission protocol. That means what? Just it will transfer the data over a protocol to the another system without any encryption. Suppose if you are sending password ABC123, it will go as it is in the network. Right. There is a chance of hacker may see that password and hack it. But if you use HTTPS, it is a more secured way of sending the data. Right. Here if you type ABC password, right, ABC123, in the network it will be encrypted. Because of this protocol, it will, other people cannot see it. It will go as a encrypted format. Right. No other person can see. More secured way we can send the secure data. Right. We will have a terminologies: uniform resource indicator, identifier, uniform resource locator, uniform resource name. Right. Mostly we will call it as a uniform URI, uniform resource identifier. What it means? We will have a URL. Suppose I want to communicate from this application to this application through API. Right. How to communicate? We should have some protocol. Right. Mostly we will use HTTPS protocol only because we have to communicate more secure way. Right. We have a protocol, and then which application we want to communicate, that application have some IP address. Right. Host name. Suppose google.com I want to communicate. Right. We will give a google.com. Right. If you want to communicate with specific page in the google.com, I want to write a specific page I want to communicate with. We will give a path. Right. Suppose I want to communicate with suppose page 1, page 2, page 3. This is called a resource path. Right. Here it will have a protocol and then host or domain we can call it. Remaining is path. Right. From the server I want to get some of the pages. Right. Some APIs basically. Right. We will see more about later. Right. Then we will have a API methods. Different API methods it will have. Right. Message will have in the REST API. What we will have? Request. Then we will communicate through API and response we will get it back. Right. These request messages, there are different types of request methods. Suppose I want to retrieve the data. Right. I want to retrieve. Then we will use a get method. If you want to create, that means you want to create, suppose you will go to naukri.com first time, you will register, right? Basically what we are doing register means creating one account, right? That is called post. Create is called post. Suppose tomorrow I want to update your account, right? That is called put. By using put we can update the resource. Delete. Sometimes after some time I don't want that Naukri account, we can delete it. Delete method. By using delete we can delete it. Right, these are the 4 mostly we use it. There are few more also there. We will see later. Payload. Payload means a body in the HTTP request and a response message. Body we can have in the request and also response. Right. Suppose you are creating Naukri account. You are entering username. Right. Username, first name, last name. Right. Then different data. Right. You are entering the resume. These are all called body. Whenever, right, we will send in the request, right, these are the data I am sending to the server. Server what it will do? It will create an account in the database it will respond back, okay, it is created successfully. Response also will have a body. Right, request will have a body, response also body. Mostly that is in the post request, put request, we will use body. Right, we will use the request body. Response body will come for mostly all of the requests. Right, get, if we are get means we are retrieving some data. Response will have some response body, right? We will see those are all. What is the web service? Right, service available over the web. Right, if you want, suppose one application to another application I am communicating, right, through web service. Web service will work only on the network. If you have a network, then only it will work. Provide a way of communication between two machines or two applications over the internet. Suppose if we take an example of, suppose abc.com server is there, right, I am, by using the client machine we can communicate with that, or ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, by using mobile app, right, we are communicating. These are all required a network, otherwise we cannot, right, communicate these banks, right, one system to, if you want another system, we must use the network, otherwise it will not work. Right, API, right, we will see this later. Right, web service. This is also one more example. Make my trip. Suppose make my trip. Suppose you want to book a flight. Suppose India to US. Right, then you will search the data, but it will not. Right, it will communicate with different. Right, Indigo Airlines, Jet Airlines, different airlines. It will search and provide the data. Right, right. Indigo data will not maintained by Jet. Right, all the data will not be at one place. Those are all in different places. Indigo will maintain their own server. Jet Airways will maintain different. Right, Air India will maintain different servers. But a client will be makemytrip.com. That is the one of the application. Like this, multiple applications are there. Right, we can use the make my trip like this. We have multiple applications. It will communicate with those servers, same servers. Right, then fetch the data. Right, if we require web service, that is called a web service. By using web service required a net, that is also called as a API. See, there is a difference. Web service is an API wrapped in HTTP. Right, web service is an API wrapped in HTTP. But all web services are API. All web services are, we can call it as a API. But APIs are not web service. API may work with network, without network also. But a web service will not work. Right, web service is like a API only. But API will work with network, without network also it will work. That's why all web services are APIs, but all APIs are not web services. Right, web service needs a network while API doesn't need a network. For example, if you take API that runs on the web, that is called web service. API that runs on the web, that is called web service. API means a way for software to talk to each other. Right, suppose if you take a weather API fetching the data from online, it is called a web service. Or a mobile app using phone camera API. Right, within the phone only, phone will communicate with within the phone camera API. That means we don't require any, right, we don't require within the mobile, it will automatically communicate with the same camera app API. We don't require network for that. Right, we don't require. So that is a API. That is not a web service. Web service require a internet. It will communicate through the other application over the HTTP. Right, these are all already we have discussed. There are types of web services. Right, SOAP web service, RESTful web services. Right, we will see those later in detail in our coming classes. Right, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, enable notification. If you have any comments, doubts, queries, suggestions, please comment in the comment section. Please share to your friends. Please like the video. Thanks for watching.